Like you need to get so granular in looking at how profitable you are by every service and every product that you have in your business. And if you're not profitable, what is the impact and how do you fix it yesterday? Quarter one is officially over. So, how did you do? Did you hit your financial goals that you set back in January, your revenue goals, your cash flow goals, and your profit goals? Did you achieve some of the things that you desired in quarter one? Or are you sitting there wondering, where did my money go? Either way, don't panic. Woosah. Because I am going to walk you through exactly what to do now to pivot powerfully and profitably as we arrive in quarter two. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Say Yes to Profits podcast, where we help service-based CEOs approaching or beyond the seven-figure mark master their cash flow, minimize taxes, and confidently say yes to profits without stress, struggle, or setbacks. If you're new here, I am Octavia Conner, your future virtual CFO, your financial business bestie for all things money, strategy, and building a sustainable, profitable business. Here's the thing. We're just wrapping up financial reviews for several of our clients. We're going over what happened in Q1 versus the annual Say Yes to Profits plan that we created. And let me tell you, some were shocked when they saw their results and their numbers. Like one client in particular realized they were bleeding money in Q1 due to unmonitored subscriptions and a team that just wasn't performing at the level they were being paid. But after reviewing everything, we created another plan that they're going to strategically implement, that they have to pivot a little bit. And if they do everything that we're telling them to do, they'll recoup about $85,000 in quarter two. Now, that is the power of awareness, strategy, and making the right money moves. And then there's another client of ours that owns a boutique healthcare consulting firm. Now, they came to us last year because their revenue was looking really, really strong, and it really was, but they were not seeing profit, and cash flow was always a problem, and the owner just couldn't receive a consistent salary or expand the team and the business because the money was not where it needed to be. Now, after diving into their numbers quarter by quarter, we discovered a few things. Number one, their top line income had grown by 28%, which is not bad. But at the same time, their overhead exploded by nearly 40%. And that is almost double the amount of extra revenue that the company achieved during that same period of time. So the owner was scratching her head trying to figure out why, as I literally scratched my head. But the reason is because they hired a team too quickly without assessing the return on the investment, without understanding how each team member will be in position to help them generate a profit and retain profitability. And so thousands of dollars went out the door in unmonitored contractor expenses and invoices. Then on top of that, they had delayed customer invoices. Then on top of that, they had a lot of duplicate software that they thought they really needed. And they honestly did not. Okay, so with all of that, you're probably wondering, well, what did you do to fix it? Well, first and foremost, we helped them restructure their team roles to ensure that every team member is profit generating, right? To ensure that every team member realize certain things that they need to hear, that they need to do in order to make sure that the company is earning more money and in order to make sure that they're not working overtime on the clock when they're not supposed to. So we put the financial strategies and systems in place to ensure that. In addition to that, we help them cancel unnecessary costs. So what do I mean? So this exercise I do with all of my clients when they first come on board and at least 2 or 3 times throughout the year. And this is where we look at every way money is leaving your company, and I have them answer a question for me, and they can only give me 3 answers. No explanation, no extra talking, no none of that, right? So they have to say, yes, this is needed, or no, this is not needed, or yes, this is needed, but it could be lower. And based on their answers, we begin to work. If it's no, cut it immediately, period, done. If it is yes, okay, what has the return on the investment been? They have to literally identify that. And then if it's yes, but it could be lower, now let's work together to get it lower. As a result of that, this particular client uncovered over $40,000 that is now sitting in a cash reserve repeatedly month after month because we cut a lot of unnecessary expenses. Now, that's the power of knowing and reviewing and understanding your numbers and allowing your numbers to lead you to make better financial decisions. So the question remains, what must you do to review quarter one and to implement a pivot strategy for quarter two so that you can ensure that you say yes to profits and say yes to all of your goals as we deep dive into this new quarter? Well, first pause and hit the subscribe button. Can you do that for me? Do me a favor. Yes, not only hit the subscribe button, but please share this with your entrepreneur friends. Now, what must you do? Well, I'm going to give you a few steps. So I need you to listen up closely so that you can implement this. Number one, review your quarter one financials. That's obvious. Pull your profit and loss statement, your balance sheet, and your statement of cash flow. By now, you should have received your financial reports from your accountant. If not, well, that's a part of the problem, boo. It is taking too long after a month has ended and another one has begun before you receive that important data, the financial reports. You should be receiving those no later than the 7th of the month so that you can review them, understand them, and immediately implement the changes at the beginning of the month that will ensure that you end that month profitably. Now that we have our financial reports, I want you to ask yourself a few questions, okay? Did I meet my revenue, profit, and cash flow targets? Where did most of my revenue come from? And was it the most profitable stream as well? What expenses can I reduce or eliminate without negatively impacting the operations or growth of my company? You need to identify what worked and what didn't work and be brutally honest with yourself so that you can make significant changes that results in a better Q2. Step number two, check your financial KPIs, all right? Your KPIs are your key performing indicators. Your KPIs tell you the truth that your bank account may not be showing you, all right? These numbers help you track your financial health and identify exactly where you're thriving or bleeding cash flow and profits. So there are a couple of KPIs that I want you to focus on no matter what type of service-based business that you have. The first one is your gross profit margin. This tells you how much you are keeping after delivering your services. This shows the efficiency that you have in delivering your offers. There are episodes on the podcast that details the gross profit margin, so I'll link those in the show notes. The next KPI is your net profit margin. Of course, I want you to say yes to profits. And so this shows how much of what you earn do you have left over after subtracting all of your costs related to that particular month or period in your business. You want to ensure that you have a positive number at all times because the more that you're profitable, the more you will increase your cash flow. The more that you have a net loss, the more you will decrease your cash flow. And so you want to say yes to profits every single month, every single quarter in your business, which will then help you say yes to cash flow. You got it? Yes, yes. Next, it is of uber importance that you understand your client acquisition cost, which is how much money you're spending to land new clients and to determine if that is worth it, okay? The next KPI is your cash burn rate, and this tells you how quickly your business is spending your cash each month and is it sustainable. This number is uber important because your cash burn rate will identify when you're going to run out of cash. Hopefully never, but if you're not focused on it, if you don't understand it, then you can run out of cash sooner than you ever thought possible. And if you run out of cash, you are running out of having a business. And so that's why you need to know, understand, and keep track of your cash burn rate. And finally, your liability accounts impact. So do you have credit cards, loans, or tax liabilities that are quietly draining your cash flow? If you're not tracking those consistently, then you could be generating a profit. But the reason why you don't have any cash flow is because now you're having to take that money and pay those credit card bills and those loans off. And so it's taking the cash out of your business that was generated from your ability to say yes to profits. And so you want to make sure that those things are not having a negative impact on your company. And honestly, you want to be at a place where you don't need a loan or things like that. Maybe you have it. Maybe you have a business line of credit and there's no problem with that. But it's not in such excess that it's taking the money out of your business. And so you still have cash flow problems, right? That's what you don't want to do. Now, once we have understood our KPIs, step 3, you're going to assess your offers and pricing for the upcoming quarter. This is the perfect time to evaluate your services from a profit focused perspective. Okay, you all, not just what made money, but what makes profitability sense. All right, so how do you do that? Well, I'm glad you asked. So you need to determine what services are generating the most revenue and they have the highest profit margin. You need to look beyond your income line to what deliveries are resulting in real ROIs for your business. You need to look beyond your income line and identify how much of your financial resources are your team taking up and the software is taking up. Like, is this particular service line profitable, or are you paying more out in your team costs to prepare that service or provide that service, or are you paying more out in software and tools to provide that service? Like, you need to get so granular in looking at how profitable you are by every service and every product that you have in your business. And if you're not profitable, what is the impact and how do you fix it yesterday? Once you do that, you need to ask yourself if you're able to increase your prices without losing value or clients. Here's what I know, y'all. Most 7-figure business owners are undercharging. Even though they've made it to a million, many of them still don't have their pricing correct because they're not paying attention to the margins for each service or each product, right? Or when they gave the price to that potential client or for that potential service, they didn't factor in how much the contractor's expense was going to be and how much the tools and the softwares were going to be. Or worst case scenario, they didn't include a profit margin percentage in with the price. There are episodes here on the Say Yes to Profits podcast where I go over how to price your services for profit, and I'll link those in the show notes as well. Either way, bottom line, you need to make sure your prices are correct, because before you can even get to profitability and excess cash flow, it starts with your prices and your revenue. And if that is not right, everything that trickles down is going to be incorrect or challenging. Okay. Now, once we've done step 1 through 3, we arrive at step 4, which is where you adjust your cash flow forecast for the next quarter. Cash flow is your business's superpower. Without it, even the most profitable company can crumble. So, to ensure that you're ready for the next 90 days, you're going to forecast, right? You're going to look at all of the ways that money will enter and leave your business. Will you be profitable each month? Heck, even each week, if it's very challenging as it relates to your cash flow right now? And will you be cash flow positive during that same time? Now, to help you, I've created a cash flow mastery toolkit, which is a plug and play template where you can plug in your numbers and it will spit out and it will let you know if you're going to be cash flow positive and profitable. And here's the thing. You want to put every way that money will enter and leave your business on the plug and play template. All right. So you can access it by going to sayyes2profits.com/toolkit. And here's what I want to tell you too. Many entrepreneurs will forget those quarterly tax payments that they have to pay. Now, depending on your type of business, You're not going to directly pay them from the company. But if you have quarterly tax payments, and if you are a seven-figure business, you more than likely do have quarterly tax payments on your personal side. You may want to take the money in distributions to yourself and then pay your quarterly taxes. You can very well do that. But if you're not forecasting that when it's time to pay it, you may not be in the financial position to pay it because you didn't proactively prepare for it. That's also includes any annual or quarterly forgotten expenses that happen once a year or once a quarter or something like that. You want to put those on your cash flow forecast as well, okay? So again, you can access it by going to sayyesToProfits.com/toolkit. When you access it, there's a video to show you how to use it. I want you to do a cash flow forecast today so that tomorrow is profitable and cash flow positive. Now we've arrived at step 5, and step 5 is where you create one big financial goal. Now that you've reviewed everything, now that you've forecast the future, it is time to focus on the pivot and the change. So what is one financial win that you would like to achieve in the next quarter? Whatever it is, I need you to focus on it. And then I need you to break it down into its smallest, most achievable parts. And then I need you to figure out the exact steps, the exact money moves, the exact thing you must do every day, every week, every month in that quarter that will position you to achieve that goal. All right. And so again, here's where you get granular, you get very clear, and you break it down and make it easy for you to achieve. And then you measure your progress each and every day, each and every week, each and every month in your business, and don't wait to the end of the quarter to be stressed out. That's how you start to really make the right move. So set the goal, write it down, even share it with your team and revisit it every single week. Heck, every single day if you need to, and check your progress. And then have a reward for yourself when you do achieve it that will make you feel like it was all worth it. That's how you ensure that you achieve your goals the next quarter. All right, so now it is time for the profit check yourself moment. This is part of the episode where we pause, we reflect, and we keep it 100% real with ourselves. So, listen. You can't say yes to profits if you're not checking in with the numbers that truly matter. And so I want you to grab your financial reports and let's check in once again. So I want you to ask yourself, what surprised me the most about the quarter one performance? What was good? What was bad? And again, what surprised me the most? What part of my business brought in the most profit with the least amount of stress? What is one financial mistake that I made or my team made in quarter one that I refuse to repeat ever again? And what's the one financial decision I must commit to make quarter two one that is amazing, that will ensure that I have cash flow, confidence, clarity, and control? Ask yourself those questions. And if you're comfortable, leave the answers in the comments. I would love to hear it. Or meet me in the Say Yes to Profits free community and let's talk about it. And bottom line, here's what you need to realize. Yes, quarter one is done, but the year is far from over. Now is the time to lead your business like the profitable seven-figure CEO that you were born to be. How do you do that? Review your numbers, refine your strategy, recommit to your goals. And if you need help implementing this and getting on the right side of your finances, hire help. You're looking at or listening to a virtual CFO that could be the ultimate game changer in your business. And also download the cash flow forecast. This is a free toolkit for you. So go to sayyestopprofits.com/toolkit and begin to plug and play your numbers so that you can become proactive instead of reactive at operating your business. If you have any questions and comments, definitely leave those below. And until next time, this is Octavia Conner. Say yes to profits. Toodles. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Say Yes to Profits podcast. Now it is time for you to make money moves. Take action based on what you learn. Now, see you on the next episode. Say Yes to Profits. Toodles.